Oh, and that's a great dive from Hubert Blind, Wolfish, Legelstein, Hauschenbergerdorf to end off the bottom of the ninth inning. Unheard of from Wolfish, Legelstein, Hauschenbergerdorf. SenzuMike's going to be facing some stiff competition in the next round. Speaking of which, let's pan over to him now. Alright, he's going slowly, explodes on the ground, and he kind of, he's slowly falling down or something. Damn, he's milking this so hard he can make him butter. Hello, viewers of the internet. My name is SenzuMike, and very recently we saw the release of MCC Island's new game mode, Spleef Rush, which, for those of you who clicked on a video you knew nothing about for some reason, is an Elytra-based Minecraft PvP game where you use rocket launchers to try to kill other players by spleefing them. After a history of kinda zany MCC Island game releases, Spleef Rush's innovation is genuinely a great change of pace. Previously, the most popular game on MCC Island was Skybattle, a PvP game where you progressively go further and further into the middle of the map, getting chest loot along the way in hopes of being the last man standing. A concept which had notable positive changes from its inspiration, Skywars, but still felt too derivative and didn't offer much you couldn't get on 1.8 Skywars, unless you preferred the less knockback and more gears-based PvP of Skybattle.
To another episode of Skywars.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Skywars.
But then in comes Spleef Rush, a completely new and original game mode, which has an insanely good premise, fast-paced gameplay, and it doesn't hurt that the game mode is genuinely fun, unlike you. Go away. However, while Spleef is a fun and innovative game mode, that doesn't guarantee success, especially in the long term, which is why this video isn't going to be one blindly praising Spleef Rush, or one that stays tunnel visioned in on its flaws. To try to stay as unbiased as possible, I'll be using two main metrics which I believe can quite easily determine the success of Spleef Rush, or its potential success. The first metric is how easily accessible a game is for new players, and second, how rewarding it is to get better at the game. These metrics aren't all there is to a video game's success. Like, of course there are other factors, but to prove the raw power of them, let's use these metrics to analyze the success of one of the most popular video games in the world, Super Mario Bros. Or for this video, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, since that's my favorite game in the franchise because of nostalgia! Mario has some of the simplest controls in all of gaming. You can move, run, and jump. Like, why can't taxes be that simple? Death is! And brilliantly, all the levels in Mario are designed around playing that way. However, you're also rewarded if you get better at the game with star coins, which unlock extra levels in World 9. This is like a rainbow world. On top of having the I can speak, okay? But you also get the simple reward of being able to use your movement and gameplay to make it far more fun. Take one of my favorite levels in the game, World 7 Fortress. If you choose to play this level the normal way, it's a boring pseudo-auto-scroller where you basically just sit still for the majority of the level. This is what I do with my free time, folks. However, if you have the propeller suit, then this level becomes an entirely different beast. Instead of sitting on a slow-moving platform, you can use the flight feature of the propeller suit to launch yourself as high as possible. Jumping from bullet bill launcher to bullet bill launcher, needing to avoid bullet bills in order to keep that's a lot of bullet bills, to keep up the propellers, to not die, turning this baby-ass game into a fucking bullet hell. That's right, baby, we're actually playing Psychonauts 2. What the fuck is that game? To summarize, a game has to be simple and easy to have people understand it and want to give it a shot in the first place, but also, its mechanics and gameplay need to have enough depth for players to want to stay around. Basically, making an easy game is good for the short term, but making a hard game is good for the long term. And of course, Spleef Rush almost perfectly demonstrates all these traits. First, Spleef Rush is an incredibly simple control scheme. You just glide around and shoot people. It's arguably even simpler than vanilla Minecraft, which is literally called vanilla because it's so basic. Like what, is the Nocturne insane? Well, I mean, they did make Kung Fu Panda. Then, Spleef Rush also has lots of depth. The Elytra breaking mechanic. Wait, my Elytra's gone? You always have to be keeping an eye on when you need to land. The launchers, which bring you up to the air, add an element of skill as to when you can use them. The Minecraft Elytra mechanics also give the game a lot of depth. Like, there's not only an element of depth added because of Spleef Rush. These are just Minecraft mechanics that have never been explored before, which is like, that's a benefit of this as well. With all this in mind, Spleef Rush seems on paper to be perfectly designed for players to not only be intrigued by the game mode at the beginning, but also stick around and learn the mechanics as well, potentially giving it even more potential to blow up than Skywars or Bedwars. However, there's a reason I said it's only almost perfect. An issue which plagues each and every single one of the MCC Islands games plagues this one as well. And that is the fact that they were all meant to be played in a tournament setting. To explain what I mean and why this is potentially bad, let's look over to Hypixel for a second. On the surface, Skywars and Bedwars, two games which got Hypixel in the limelight, seem very similar to Spleef Rush. However, let's look at Skyblock, a game which has even less explosive potential than Skywars or Bedwars, at least on the surface. But when you look at it and you really consider what made it got big, it becomes extremely apparent just what Spleef Rush was missing that all these other games had. The ability to experiment. In Spleef Rush, you're tasked with playing in a very specific way, that being keeping up with moving platforms, killing enemies, and there isn't much room for experimentation. However, in Bedwars, what if instead of going to other people's islands and breaking their beds, what if they wanted to make a giant base defense, or collect resources, or get a bow and defend their base, or destroy enemy bridges to annoy them, and kill for amount of enemies in their base? The creativity on display from these game modes gives a level of investment to players of all skill levels. I guess I never said you couldn't just sit in the resource generator as well, but anyways. You can play exactly how you want to play, whereas in Spleef Rush, you have to play the exact same way that the game wants you to play every single time, leading to a game that gets stale really fast. Don't get me wrong, the game is fun and has broad appeal by all means. And it's so close to being perfect as well that I, despite wanting Ace Race so bad I made that my server name for MCC Island, advocated for the addition of Spleef Rush instead, since it would be best for the server. However, the glaring issue on display here is a deal breaker so big that I think it'll be the only reason that Spleef Rush won't get popular. Or maybe I'm just wrong. I mean, there's that too. Don't trust my words, I'm a stranger on the internet.